I'm going to try not to spend 2 hours on this topic with you. I'm going to talk about it a little bit and I'm going to show it to you. The reason why I'm tempted to spend a really long time with you on this is because this is one of the most powerful new additions, in my opinion, to the overall Azure framework that's come along in a while. All right, and I'm not saying it's more important than the key services. Obviously, that's what it's all about. But in terms of working with Azure, this is something you're going to want to understand. And that is the idea of resource group deployment templates. Right? And so we have this idea of resource groups, right? And the concept of a resource group is pretty simple. I create a resource group and then I put related resources into that resource group. And we've got control over that. And even, I didn't talk about it, but on a previous topic, on the topic itself, it says you can actually monitor billing by that, right? But what's even cooler with this concept of resource group is that I can define the elements, the resources that I want to deploy into that resource group in a configuration file, right? And so what that means is, let's say that I need to create a complex development or test environment that includes a virtual network, multiple virtual machines, maybe load balancer, public IP addresses, whatever the different components are that I need to set this environment up. Well, rather than having to go in and set it up or even script it, I can actually define it declaratively in this template file. And then I can, with a single PowerShell command, deploy all of these elements, create these elements using this template file. All right? And the template file is a JSON file. All right? It's a JSON structure. Now, as you might expect, being able to deploy all of these different resources, again, things as diverse as virtual machines to load balancers and all of the rules that go into a load balancer, these JSON files can be very complex. Okay? But there's some great tools that are designed to help us with this. For one thing, very cool capability, I can actually export a resource group deployment template. So, let's say, okay, I don't want to go in and I don't want to get my hands into the JSON and try and write this out structured properly. Okay, I can just go in, create, and go through the portal. Create a resource group, add the elements I need to the resource group, configure them properly, and then go to PowerShell and simply export the template for that. In fact, you'll see this increasingly in the portal. There are tools in the portal where you can go and view the actual JSON configuration of that. In fact, there's a whole other interface that you can use that just goes straight to the JSON that is defining and lets you interact with the JSON that's defining the resources in your resource groups. Right? And if you want to do something from scratch, and I will tell you, I don't ever want to just build the JSON for this from scratch because it is complex. But there's some phenomenal tooling that's built into Visual Studio. Right? And again, I use the free version of Visual Studio, and this works completely well there. And I use a free version usually because I like seeing that lowest common denominator, right? And what can I do with the lowest common denominator? I can absolutely fully use it to build my resource groups. And it's so easy. And I'm going to demonstrate this. I'm not going to, again, spend 2 hours demonstrating it like I might like to, but I'll show you some very basic things as far as how I can view templates and also how you can create your own templates relatively easily using Visual Studio.